All right. Well, it is 4:05, so we're going to go ahead and start. Thank you to everybody for coming. This is the first MSU Vote Campus Coalition webinar series. Today's is voter registration. First off, I'm Langston Smith. My pronouns are he, him. I'm currently a third-year student at Michigan State, and I'm an intern with MSU Vote.
And hello, my name is Riley. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm a senior in the accounting major, and I'm also an intern with MSU Vote. So first, I'm just going to mention we are recording this so that we can share it out. It shouldn't be recording anyone other than myself and the other panelists, but if you're not okay with being recorded, please message that in the chat. And then we do have the Q&A function enabled, so if you have any questions come up, feel free to send them there and we'll answer them near the end. Just for some basic information, MSU Vote is a nonpartisan campus committee whose mission is to increase the number of registered student voters, to inform and educate students on candidates and issues, and to bolster student participation on election day. Langston and I are both interns with MSU Vote, and we also work with a large team of community members, student fellows, faculty, and a bunch of other great people from the community. Today, we're going to be talking about the importance of voting, resources for other states, how to check your voter registration, how to register to vote, deadlines coming up, choosing how to vote, making a voting plan, and resources that we have available on the MSU Vote website.
All right, first off, we're going to talk about the importance of voting. The first big thing is your vote is your voice. Voting is your civic duty, and one of the great things about being in America is you get the ability to vote. So vote when you have the chance to. Voting gives you the opportunity to stand up for what you believe in, elect and give power to those who represent your values, and make a change in your community. One vote can change an election, whether it's a national, state, or local election. And as of today, October 15th, over 18 million Americans have voted in the 2020 election. And we anticipate by the end of this week, that number will be well over 20 million.
We will be focusing primarily on Michigan voting processes, rules, and deadlines. If you are an out-of-state student and you're voting in your home state, visit our website for some voter guides that are organized by state, or you can also on the vote.org website find an outline of the different voting deadlines for each state.
All right, so the first thing is checking your voter registration. So to check your voter registration status, you can visit this link here. It'll take you to the Michigan Secretary of State website, and you can check if you're registered and where you're registered. If you've recently moved to a new county or township, you will need to re-register, and you can do that with your local election official. However, if you've moved within the same county or township, you will only need to update your current address. You won't need to re-register to vote.
So for Michigan, we have three main options for registering to vote. You can register online by visiting the Secretary of State website and completing the digital form. You can register by mail by completing the application on paper and mailing it to your clerk's office. This form is also found on the Michigan website. And you can register in person. So you can go in person to your local clerk's office and fill out the registration form and get all set with that. The link on the bottom there is to find your local clerk's office, just so you know where to go.
And here in Michigan, we do have some important deadlines coming up regarding voter registration. First off, on October 19th, all mail-in and online voter registration forms must be in. So if you're doing it online, your deadline is October 19th at midnight. If you're doing it by mail, it has to be postmarked by the 19th. In-person voter registration is open until 8 p.m. on election day. So to do that, you just have to go to your local election clerk's office and you can register there. And then requesting an absentee ballot, which everyone who votes in the state of Michigan has the ability to do. You have to request that by October 30th by 5 p.m. But we would recommend, if you're doing an absentee ballot, going ahead and requesting that now so that it can get to you as soon as possible.
In Michigan, you also have a couple options for how you vote. So you can vote by mail, vote early at your clerk's office, or vote in person on election day. For voting by mail, or typically absentee, first step is to request an absentee ballot. So as we stated, all registered voters in Michigan can request an absentee ballot, and you can visit the michigan.gov/vote website to submit an application or visit your local election clerk. And one thing that's really important is to follow the directions for completing and sending your ballot, including how to fill it out, what envelope to use, and how to place your ballot in the envelope. Following those steps will help prevent any processing issues and make sure that your vote is accepted. And then for sending your ballot, they can be mailed into your local election clerk or dropped off at the polls on election day. They do have to be received by 8 p.m. on November 3rd.
And another way to vote is through early voting. So you can find your local clerk's office at that same Secretary of State website. And this is where you'll go to drop off your completed ballot. For early voting, you can either request an absentee ballot by mail or online, or you can go in person to your local election clerk's office, pick up, complete, and submit your ballot all in one trip. So for submitting your ballot early, the deadline is 4 p.m. on Monday, November 2nd. And then the next slide will be voting in person. So on campus at Michigan State, you can vote at the MSU Union, IM East and IM West, and at Brody Hall. If you're not in the East Lansing area, you can visit the Secretary of State website and you can find your local polling places. And all polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Election Day. On Election Day, when you go to the polls, bring with you photo identification, masks, hand sanitizer, and gloves because we are still in a pandemic. If you forget your ID, you can still vote in the state of Michigan. You just need to sign a form explaining why you didn't have your ID with you. And then the last part is waiting in line. I'm sure as many of you have seen in the last couple of days, people are waiting for sometimes up to 12 hours to vote in person. Depending on your polling location, be prepared to wait in line for some time. I'm not saying it might be 12, but you might have to wait 20 or 30 minutes to vote. Bring snacks, water, and something to keep yourself occupied while you wait. Voters are also protected from intimidation both prior to and on Election Day. If you feel uncomfortable at any time while you're at your polling place, please talk to one of the present election officials or contact 866-678-8683 for nonpartisan election protection.
One thing that's especially important for college students is making a plan for voting in this upcoming election. So a lot of us are busy with work, with classes, with exams, and other responsibilities. So if you're in a student org or work within a fraternity or sorority, encourage all of your members and friends to make a plan to vote this year. If you know you're going to be busy on Election Day, consider voting by mail or voting early at your clerk's office. And if you're voting in person, bring a friend with you to the polls. The lines will go a lot faster if you have someone to keep you company, and it'll help get everyone engaged in the voting process. So, for example, I'm already registered to vote, and my voting plan is this upcoming Monday, the 19th, actually. I'm going to drive home to my parents' house to pick up my absentee ballot, fill it out, and drop it off at my local clerk's office before I come back to East Lansing.
And I'm an out-of-state student from Colorado, so I've requested a mail-in ballot. When I get my mail-in ballot, I'm going to fill it out and return it to the post office the same day, just to ensure that my vote will be counted this year. And lastly is the MSUvote website, some extra resources, and a web chat. So the MSUvote website is where you can go to get all things that will help you with the election this year. We've got great resources, including voter guides for both the state of Michigan and other states. We've got a student-run web chat where you can ask any questions regarding both in-state and out-of-state voting, as well as voter information. And we've also got an events calendar where you can go to look at upcoming events and important dates related to voting. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to use the chat function.
If you have questions later, if you visit the MSUvote website, the little student chat will pop up in the bottom corner, and you'll be able to ask questions there as well. There are no stupid questions. Voting is a very important process, but a lot of it can be very complicated. So don't feel like any question is not good enough or like you should already know it. All right, so if there's no other questions, that's all we have for you today. Thanks for coming. I hope you were able to learn something, and have a great day.
Thank you.